One of the things that you have to understand about water is that people get really passionate about it. So if you're going to buy a property, you should understand just some basics about water. When you buy a home in a neighborhood, it's almost irrelevant. The water is provided by the city in which you're purchasing the home. But if you're buying a house that's out a little bit or on a little bit of land, water becomes a big question. First thing you'll have to figure out is the difference between water rights, water shares, and well permits. Three different things that are all very applicable. Water shares are just like a share of stock. It's personal property, it belongs to a person, and it allows them to access a certain amount of water from a certain water company over a certain given period of time. For example, in the American Fork Irrigation Company, one water share is worth 2 acre-feet of water per year, and that is allocated on the basis of how much water is available for those shares each year. So it gets a little bit complicated, but if you have a water right on a property, that is actually attached to the property. That water right travels with the property. So that's commonly found in a farm where a farmer has a well that's accessing the water and they're using that to irrigate. And that brings up the question of well permits. You can't just drill a hole in the ground and start sucking water out of it unless you want to go to jail. You need to have a well permit, and that's issued from the state, and that gives you the right to access the water that is underneath your property. If you're going to have that right to access the water, you have to own the water rights to that. A well permit can be transferred from one property to another as long as the appropriate water rights, the water that you're going to be accessing, is owned and pertains to that property on which you're supplying the water to. That's a really basic overview. There are attorneys who are well trained in water rights and water shares and water services. If you ever have a question, we're happy to give you some basic understandings, but never hesitate to consult a professional, because when it comes to water, you don't want to mess around. This is Mike Burns with Whitman Burns Realty. We're always happy to help you out.